I had learned to recognize that sensation by now, that oppressive stillness that heralded the Curator's presence. Tonight, it was more than a whisper in the shadows. It was a storm gathering, unpredictable and fierce. I stood alone in the heart of the library's dream realm, a place where reality bent and twisted like smoke caught in an impossible dance. The shelves stretched infinitely, their spines glowing faintly with the light of countless dreaming souls. Somewhere beyond the fog, I knew he waited. A chill whispered down my spine as the shadows converged. Then, from the darkness, he emerged tall, gaunt, wrapped in robes that seemed woven from the night itself. His eyes, twin embers burning with a cold fire, locked onto mine without mercy. "You trespass where you do not belong, Liora," he said, his voice a low rumble that echoed through the dreamscape like distant thunder. "This library is my domain, my collection. The souls within are mine to keep forever bound, forever preserved." Fear clawed at my throat, but I forced myself steady, meeting his gaze. "They're not your possessions," I said quietly. "They're prisoners. They deserve freedom." A cruel smile flickered across his face, as if amused by my defiance. "Freedom, a luxury you cannot afford. Every page you turn, every breath you steal from your own life, binds you tighter. Soon you will understand the cost of your rebellion." His words were a venomous promise, and I felt the years slipping from me with every heartbeat. But I would not yield, not yet. The dream realm around us darkened, the shelves bending and twisting into jagged spikes that threatened to pierce the sky. The Curator raised a hand, and from the shadows emerged his guardian's ethereal figures, their forms flickering like dying stars, eyes glowing with cold malice. They advanced silently, a living wall of despair. I drew a shaky breath, feeling the weight of every lost year pressing down on my shoulders. But I was not alone. From the edges of the dreamscape, a soft light shimmered Eleanor's presence, gentle but resolute. Her translucent form glided beside me, her voice like a whisper carried on the wind. "He feeds on fear and doubt, Liora. Stand firm, for your strength lies not just in knowledge, but in your heart." Before I could reply, a sudden burst of restless energy cut through the tension. Tamsin appeared, her dark curls tangled, eyes blazing with fierce determination. "Enough hesitation," she snapped. "We're running out of time. If we don't act now, we'll be trapped forever." Her words were a spark in the gloom, igniting a fire within me. The Curator's gaze flickered, sensing the change in the dreamscape's tide. "You think you can defy me," he hissed. "This library is eternal. I am eternal." I clenched my fists, the echo of the dreaming soul's silent pleas ringing in my ears. "Eternity without freedom is a curse," I said, "and I choose to break it." The Dream Guardians surged forward, and the battle began, not just of magic and will, but of ideals and sacrifice. Each step I took against him was a step closer to reclaiming the stolen years, but also a step deeper into the unknown. Back in the waking world, the library's corridors seemed to pulse with dark energy. The rustle of pages carried the Curator's whispered threats, an omnipresent reminder that the fight was far from over. I felt Milo brush against my leg, his emerald eyes steady and reassuring. Even in this place of shadows, his presence was a tether to reality and hope. As the confrontation faded into uneasy silence, one truth remained clear. The Curator's grip was tightening, and only by unraveling the tangled bindings of his curse could I hope to save the souls trapped within and myself. But as the dream realms shifted and the library itself seemed to hold its breath, I knew the greatest trials were still to come. The echoes of the Curator lingered like a dark melody, haunting every step, every choice. And somewhere deep inside, a question burned hotter than fear. Could I outwit a man who had bound himself to eternity, or would I become just another lost soul in the sleeping library? Only time would tell. And time, I was learning, was the most precious and perilous thing of all. Flickering candlelight cast wavering patterns across runes carved deep into a stone pedestal at its heart. Liora, Tamsin, and Eleanor crouched beside it, hands trembling as they unrolled brittle scrolls, their delicate parchment crackling softly like the whisper of old ghosts stirred from slumber. These scrolls were more than mere documents. They were fragments of a lost past, remnants of an ancient ritual whispered only in the most obscure manuscripts. Eleanor's ethereal form shimmered faintly blue in the dim light, her eyes reflecting a sadness born of too many years trapped within these walls. "The knowledge you seek is dangerous," she murmured, voice both a warning and a comfort. "The curse is woven tight, and to unravel it may come at a price none can yet foresee." Tamsin's restless fingers traced the faded ink with a fierce determination. "We have to try," she said, the sharp edge in her voice cutting through the quiet. "Every moment we wait, we lose more of ourselves." Liora felt the weight of their combined desperation settle deep in her chest. She reached out, fingers brushing the delicate symbols etched in curling lines and spirals. The magic beneath the ink thrummed softly, a pulse she could almost hear, a heartbeat of the library itself. It whispered promises of freedom and threats of ruin. Just then, a ripple of shadow coalesced in the corner, and the whispering archivist emerged, his form shifting like smoke, eyes gleaming with cryptic intent. "Beware," he intoned, his voice a thread of sound that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere. "The bindings are old and fierce. To meddle with them is to dance on the edge of oblivion. The Curator will not yield his dominion without a tempest." Liora swallowed hard, the truth of his words settling like cold stones in her stomach. "What kind of tempest?" she asked, voice barely more than a breath. The archivist's gaze flicked to the scrolls, then past them to the shadows lurking just beyond the alcove. "One that could shatter more than the chains you seek to break." A sudden tremor rattled the ancient stones beneath their feet, and for a moment, the library's magic seemed to falter. The dream realms flickered like fragile glass, scenes of forgotten wonder and pain shimmering then vanishing, swallowed by encroaching darkness. From the depths, the distant echoes of the Curator's dream guardians grew louder, relentless, inevitable. Tamsin stood abruptly, eyes blazing with fierce resolve. "We don't have time for fear. We act now, or we remain prisoners forever." Eleanor nodded slowly, her translucent form steady despite the tremor. "Then let us prepare. The fragments of freedom are fragile, but they may be our only hope." Together, they began piecing together the ritual, a delicate dance of ancient words and symbols, each step fraught with danger and the unknown. Every moment spent in this forbidden knowledge drew them closer to a precipice between salvation and devastation where the price of freedom would be revealed in full. Outside the alcove, the library's silence deepened, as if holding its breath. Liora's heart beat in time with the pulsing magic beneath the scrolls, a fragile rhythm of hope and dread. The shadows stirred, and the battle for the souls within the sleeping library was only just beginning. The chapter closed with Liora locking eyes with Tamsin and Eleanor, the weight of their shared fate pressing down like the heavy tomes surrounding them. The fragments of freedom lay spread before them, a puzzle of light and darkness, waiting for the brave to solve it or be consumed by its cost. Every step echoed softly in the cavernous silence, the dim light from the scattered candles flickering against the ancient stones. I could feel it, a presence, something vast and old, waiting beyond the next archway. My breath caught as I pushed open a heavy wooden door, revealing a chamber unlike any I had seen before. The room was circular, its ceiling lost in shadows high above, and at its center stood a crystalline structure, glowing with a soft blue light that pulsed steadily like a heartbeat. The air hummed with energy, a low vibration that thrummed beneath my skin and filled my ears with a sound almost like a whispered song. Around the chamber, the walls were carved with intricate runes that shimmered faintly, their shapes twisting and shifting as if alive. The magic here was raw, ancient, and unmistakably powerful. Eleanor appeared beside me, her pale blue form luminous against the dark stone. Her eyes were deep pools of sadness and knowledge. "This," she said softly, "is the heart of the library, the source of its magic and the prison that binds the souls within these books." I reached out tentatively, my fingers brushing the cool surface of the crystalline heart. A jolt ran through me, sharp and electric, and I gasped, pulling back. It's alive." She nodded, her gaze distant. "The bindings are woven into this core, threads of magic and sacrifice that hold the dreaming souls captive. Each one is connected here, every life, every story. To unravel the curse, you must touch the heart itself. But be warned, it is fragile. Disrupt it too much, and the entire library could collapse." The weight of her words settled heavy in my chest. Years of running, of searching for safety, had led me here to the very source of the magic that had both sheltered and imprisoned me. I could almost hear the whispered voices of the souls, a chorus of longing and despair that urged me forward. Suddenly, the air shifted. Shadows gathered at the edges of the chamber, coalescing into the tall, gaunt figure cloaked in robes so dark they seemed to swallow the light. The curator's ember-like eyes burned with cold fire. "You tread on dangerous ground, Liora," his voice echoed, a low rumble that filled the space. "The bindings exist to protect the library and me. Interfere and you risk everything." Tamsin stepped from the shadows, her dark curls, wild eyes blazing with defiance. "We are not prisoners," she spat, "and we will not be shackled to your greed forever." A tense silence fell, the pulse of the crystalline heart quickening beneath my fingertips. I felt the cost of this magic, the years slipping away with every breath, but also a fierce determination rising within me. To free the souls, to break the curse, I would have to unravel these threads carefully, balancing hope and sacrifice like a tightrope walker over a yawning void. As the curator's shadow loomed and the library's heart beat steady and strong, I knew that this was only the beginning. The true battle lay ahead, between the desire for freedom and the price that must be paid. My hand tightened on the glowing crystal, ready to face whatever came next. But even as I stood at the heart of the sleeping library, the truth settled deep in my bones. Some sacrifices are woven into the fabric of magic, and to heal, sometimes we must bleed. The chamber whispered its secrets around me, ancient and unyielding. An Liora, runaway, seeker, and now guardian in waiting would have to become part of its story. For the library was alive. It dreamed, and it waited. With a steadying breath, I stepped forward, the glowing runes illuminating the path ahead, and the library's heart pulsing beneath my touch. The journey was far from over, but for the first time, I glimpsed a fragile thread of hope that might one day set us all free. Tamsin stood motionless, her dark curls framing a face taut with indecision and fierce longing. Before her lay the tome, its cover worn, yet pulsing with a subtle, otherworldly glow, as if it contained the heartbeat of the library itself. The very air around the book seemed to shimmer, casting restless shadows that danced across the stone walls. "You don't have to do this." Liora's voice was soft, hesitant, yet carried an undercurrent of urgency. She stepped closer, the weight of years lost evident in her pale eyes, reflecting the flickering light. Tamsin's lips pressed into a thin line, her intense eyes flickering with defiance and desperation. "I've lived decades, trapped within these pages," she whispered, voice trembling yet resolute. "Every moment I spend here is stolen time. I can't wait anymore." The library around them seemed to hold its breath. The rows of books, each a tomb for a dreaming soul, stretched into shadowy infinity. Somewhere deep within, the Curator's influence pulsed like a dark heartbeat, a reminder of the stakes at play. Eleanor emerged softly from the shadows, her ethereal form shimmering pale blue. "The path you choose is fraught with peril," she warned, her voice like a distant melody tinged with melancholy. "The bindings are ancient, their magic woven with sacrifice. To unravel them may demand more than you are prepared to give." Tamsin turned to her, eyes blazing. "I'd rather risk it than remain a prisoner forever." Liora's heart clenched. The cautious part of her recoiled at the danger, but the ember of hope Tamsin ignited was undeniable. They had been bound by fear and the slow, steady erosion of time, but here, in this moment, a spark of rebellion flickered. Before they could speak further, the whisper of movement drew their attention. From the shadows stepped the whispering archivist, his form shifting and indistinct, as if woven from smoke and secrets. His voice was a low murmur, curling around them like a dark riddle. "Beware the price of unwinding the tapestry," he warned, eyes gleaming with inscrutable intent. "The threads you pull may unravel the very fabric that holds you together." Liora met his gaze, the weight of his words settling deep within her. The cost was always more than they anticipated. Yet, standing beside Tamsin, she knew that retreat was no longer an option. With a breath that trembled between hope and fear, Tamsin reached out and opened the tome. A surge of light burst forth, ethereal and brilliant, bathing the library in a surreal glow. The dream realm around them shifted, walls seemed to ripple like water, the air thickened with raw magic, and the silent voices within the books stirred, whispering in a chorus of longing and release. Liora's heart pounded fiercely, caught in the surge of possibility and peril. The bindings that held the souls strained visibly, threads of enchanted light unraveling in bursts of shimmering color. Freedom was no longer a distant dream, but a fragile, trembling reality. "This is only the beginning," Tamsin said, voice steady despite the chaos unfolding. "We face the Curator now, and whatever it takes, we fight." Liora nodded, a newfound strength rising within her. The cost would be great, but the choice was clear. They would risk everything to reclaim stolen time and shattered lives. As the library quivered with the pulse of awakened magic, the shadows deepened at its edges, and the distant echo of the Curator's presence loomed ever closer. The battle for freedom had begun, and neither would walk away unchanged. The alcove's light dimmed to a steady glow, the first true sign of hope in years. Yet beneath it all, a question lingered. How much were they willing to sacrifice, and at what price would freedom come? Liora's gaze met Tamsin's, fierce and unwavering. "Together," she whispered, "no matter the cost." Outside, the library held its breath, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. The scent of old parchment and dust hung heavy in the air, mingling with a faint trace of something metallic, like the tang of iron left by forgotten blood. Liora stepped cautiously into the dim space, her heartbeat a steady drum beneath the silence. She had come here chasing whispers, those elusive, fragmented hints that might unlock the secrets of the library's enchantment. But nothing had prepared her for the presence that awaited. It emerged from the darkness with no more fanfare than a sigh, the shadows folding and swirling into a form both insubstantial and unnervingly solid. The whispering archivist stood before her, her figure draped in shifting inks and twilight hues, his outline blurred as though seen through rippling water. His eyes, faint glimmers like distant stars, met hers with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. "You tread dangerous ground, Liora," he murmured, voice barely above a breath, yet resonating with a weight that filled the chamber. "The curse you seek to unravel is woven into the very fabric of this place. To undo it is to risk unraveling us all." The words hung between them, heavy and cold. As the archivist's gaze flicked to the shelves surrounding them, endless rows of books, each a vessel for a dreaming soul, suspended in fragile stasis. The souls here, they depend on this balance. Disturb it recklessly, and the threads may snap. The cost, chaos, loss beyond measure. Liora swallowed, a lump rising in her throat. She had expected warnings, enigmas wrapped in riddles, but never this stark, this dire. But isn't freedom worth the risk? She whispered, voice trembling with the weight of her hope and fear. The archivist's form flickered, the shadows seeming to deepen around him. Freedom is a precious thing, yes, but so is survival. Sometimes sacrifice is the price of preservation. You must choose carefully which you value more. The silence that followed was thick with unspoken questions and the faint rustle of ancient pages shifting on their own accord. Liora's mind raced, spinning through the impossible options. Could she truly save the souls without destroying the library itself? What would become of her if the balance tipped too far? As if summoned by her turmoil, a soft glow blossomed nearby. Eleanor materialized, her form shimmering pale blue like moonlight on water. She moved with grace, ethereal robes flowing as if caught in a gentle breeze, and settled beside Liora with a quiet strength. "He speaks truth," Eleanor said softly, her voice a soothing balm against the archivist's grave words. "The library is a fragile weave of light and shadow, sacrifice and hope. But within sacrifice lies the seed of renewal." Liora looked up, eyes searching Eleanor's for reassurance. "How do I know which path to follow? How do I choose without losing everything?" Eleanor smiled faintly, a touch of melancholy in her gaze. "You do not choose alone. The bonds you forge with the souls here, with those who walk beside you, will guide your steps. Trust in connection, Liora. Even in darkness, there is light." Before Liora could respond, a sudden burst of sharp footsteps echoed through the alcove. Tamsin appeared, her dark curls wild, eyes blazing with restless fire. "Enough hesitation," she snapped, voice cutting through the quiet like a blade. "We can't wait for perfect answers. Every moment we delay, the curse tightens its grip. If we don't act now, we lose everything." Liora felt the tension coil between them, her caution clashing against Tamsin's impatience, the fragile hope battling with fierce urgency. "But the archivist warns of the risks," Liora countered. "The balance could break. We could lose the library and the souls forever." Tamsin's eyes sharpened, unwavering. "And if we do nothing, what then? The souls remain trapped, their years stolen, their hopes fading. Is that any better?" The rooms seemed to pulse with the weight of their conflict, the library itself holding its breath. Liora's heart ached with the impossible choices laid bare, to protect at the price of imprisonment, or to risk destruction for the chance of freedom. The archivist's form drifted closer, voice now a whisper echoing through the hollow space. "Know that every path bears its burden. The question is not whether you will suffer, but how you will bear it. Liora closed her eyes, the words sinking deep. In the silence, she felt the stirring of resolve, fragile yet fierce. Whatever the cost, she would walk this path on. In doing so, carve a new destiny for the sleeping library and all its dreaming souls. The alcove grew colder, shadows shifting as if alive, and Liora opened her eyes with a newfound clarity. The journey ahead was uncertain, fraught with peril, but the choice was hers alone. "Then we begin," she said, voice steady despite the storm within. Not with reckless abandon, but with open eyes and willing heart. Tamsin nodded, a spark of reluctant respect in her gaze. Eleanor's glow brightened just a fraction, a silent blessing. The whispering archivist faded back into the shadows, his warning lingering like a fragile thread woven into the fabric of their resolve. Outside the alcove, the library held its breath, the air thick with the promise of change. Somewhere, deep within the stacks, a book shifted, as if sensing the turning of fate. Liora stepped forward, the weight of the archivist's warning balanced by the fierce hope that had brought her here. The path ahead was dark, tangled with sacrifice and uncertainty, but she would walk it, year by year, dream by dream, until the sleeping library awoke anew. And somewhere, beyond the veil of sleep and shadow, the dreaming souls watched and waited, their silent voices rising in a chorus of hope and longing. The journey was far from over. The pages of fate were still turning,